I'll never get to see my baby girl walk down the aisle, have a father-daughter dance with her daddy.
With Vanessa Bryant's pregnancy rumors exploding, the NBA is increasingly calling her a tyrant. Critics are flocking as rumors of family betrayal and the Karl Malone incident resurface. But is the league causing an uncontrollable tempest, or may these emotional fissures expose the truth? The probable pregnancy of Vanessa Bryant shocked the NBA buzz machine. A snapshot, a single frame captured in time at Disneyland in June 2025 was the starting point. Wearing a breezy sundress, Vanessa Bryant walked beside her girls with a faint smile. For a casual onlooker, it was just another summertime excursion, the unguarded moment that families share. However, it was ammo from the vicious perspective of the rumor ecology. Within hours, the image surfaced online and was circulated on gossip blogs and fan accounts. And the comments area was up and running nearly immediately. Some zoomed in to accentuate what they said appeared to be the curvature of a baby bump as they circled Vanessa's tummy. Some conjectured about her attire, claiming that the outfit was intended to conceal something. The frank comment, "That is a pregnant glow," received thousands of likes. She is not expecting. No way. That spark started a blaze. The late Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa Bryant, became the subject of pregnancy rumors that began to circulate on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. TikTok modifications with the title Vanessa Baby Watch were receiving millions of views by the end of the week. Fans slowed down and added dramatic captions such as, "She is hiding something," to photos they had clipped together of her visiting Disneyland. It was no longer a question about the story, it was a proclamation. Vanessa Bryant has a child. If that was not enough scandalous, the internet soon added a name to the mix. By July, she was being asked more than simply if she was pregnant on blogs and forums. They were making assumptions about the father. Bollywood Shotty's assertion that Vanessa had a love relationship with Boston Celtics forward Jaylen Brown went viral. There was no credible information, no pictures of them together, and no proof to support the claim. However, that was irrelevant. Just the suggestion was explosive. The plot abruptly changed from idle conjecture to outright scandal. According to reports, Kobe Bryant's widow is expecting a child with an NBA player who is currently playing. The speed at which rumor travels is not the only issue in the digital era. It is the way it changes. A rumor is posted by one account. It is adorned by another account. The plot soon changes into something very different from what it started. By July 2025, the court of public opinion had already verified Vanessa's purported pregnancy. Whole TikTok accounts were devoted to following her bump. In an attempt to demonstrate that she was concealing a growing belly, Reddit members posted side-by-side comparisons of her attire from various public appearances. Some followers cited artificial intelligence AI generated pictures of her with a protruding belly that were presented as authentic paparazzi photos. The rumor became so widespread that it was covered by major media. In an article that summarized the craze, Pola mentioned that Vanessa was the most recent victim of body shaming that was passed off as conjecture. After she responded, the story was covered by the media, but only after weeks of conjecture had done its damage. By August, bloggers were talking about more than simply gossip. Cultural critics and sports commentators started to voice their opinions. The rumor then reached a new level of intensity. When popular voices started repeating the rumors as reality, it was one of the most destructive changes. For example, a widely shared video featured sports analyst Stephen A. Smith criticizing Vanessa for putting her kids at risk for a man she hardly knew. Although the remark was based solely on rumors and lacked evidence, it gained credence by being associated with his name. This is the origin of the phrase, "NBA player slammed Vanessa Bryant." Despite not being an NBA player, Stephen A. Smith's remarks were reframed as if they spoke for the league as a whole, thanks to blogs and social media posts. All of a sudden, suspicion was not limited to Vanessa Bryant. The target of the attack was Vanessa Bryant. The gossip stories became very popular. NBA players are incensed over Vanessa's pregnancy. Vanessa was criticized for her careless decisions. Kobe's legacy is being disrespected by his widow. The facts were irrelevant. The story was too good to pass up. However, the moral anger that underpinned the backlash was what made it especially violent. The rumor was not considered objective news. It was presented as humiliating, even scandalous. Even though Kobe had been gone for over 5 years, many accused Vanessa of abandoning his legacy. Some accused her of being self-centered and that she was going too quickly. Men who publicly expressed their disapproval of her being happy with someone else were the most critical. One speaker exposed the double standard on the Joe Budden podcast.
I don't want to see her move on. I don't want to see Laura London move on. I don't want to see y'all move on. Do that shit privately.
So they're supposed to walk around in public with black veils and black dresses and just be in a constant state of mourning for the rest of their lives.
Not because the internet was unkind, as was to be expected, but rather because it demonstrated the extent to which fans felt they still had influence over Vanessa's private life. It was a startling admission. They believed that she was not a woman with free will. She was a timeless emblem that Kobe would always be bound to in his mind. Furthermore, this viewpoint was not unique. The prevalence of this way of thinking was brought out by another speaker on the same program.
There's a lot of people that have problems with widows moving on for some reason. I've seen that in non-celebrity circles.
The claimed pregnancy of Vanessa became less about her and more about what the public thought she should stand for. Grief policing, in which outsiders determined how she should honor her deceased husband, caught her in the crossfire. As July turned into August, an odd occurrence occurred. What began as rumors of a baby bump in Disneyland became a story that people told over and over again. You no longer noticed posts on Twitter speculating about Vanessa Bryant's pregnancy. The wording changed instead. Vanessa Bryant is expecting a child. This was a significant change, because a rumor takes on a life of its own once it develops into a declaration of truth. Leaning into this conviction, TikTok makers, YouTubers, and influencers created explanatory threads and reaction videos that looked like they were reporting breaking news. This is the risk associated with online rumors. Lies are made to sound like the truth by repetition. From the outside, fans felt it must be true because so many people were saying it, thus conjecture solidified into conviction. TikTok was by now the epicenter of the craze. Videos of Vanessa strolling at public gatherings were compiled by creators who slowed down the clip to emphasize her demeanor. Kobe would be embarrassed by the sinister background music that some people inserted. Others included pictures of Jaylen Brown at Celtics games, suggesting without proof that he was the child's father. Although Vanessa and Brown's connection was unexpected, it became viral online due to its dramatic nature. At the age of 28, Brown was one of the most well-known young players in the NBA. The widow of a basketball legend, Vanessa was 43 years old. Gossip blogs only needed to create hits because the pairing was outrageous enough. The Jaylen Brown aspect was the focal point of Bollywood Shadi's coverage, which pushed toward the rumor. Soon later, side-by-side pictures of Vanessa and Brown went viral on social media, suggesting that their faces were a match. Even major media agencies like Hola and The Times of India reported the issue since it had gotten so out of hand. What began as rumors on TikTok were now being reported on a global scale. Vanessa did not say anything during it all. Nothing. Not a rejection. There was not even a hazy Instagram caption that addressed the rumors. Furthermore, that quiet was more powerful than any gossip. The silence was seen as guilt by her detractors. They contended that she would have put an end to the rumors right away if she was not pregnant. It meant dignity to those who supported her. For avoiding trolls and not contributing to the gossip cycle, they commended her. Her quiet, however, was actually a tactic. Vanessa had been in the spotlight long enough to understand the nature of rumors. If you deal with them too soon, you give them credibility. If you remain silent long enough, your detractors will come out. She had previously been involved in a media frenzy. She was subjected to public exploitation of her grief and paparazzi intrusion in 2020 following the catastrophic helicopter crash that claimed Kobe and Gianna's lives. Although she was fully aware that discussing the matter in public would only exacerbate the situation, she filed a lawsuit against Los Angeles County in 2021 over leaked crash scene images. Waiting was a skill Vanessa had mastered. She stayed silent in the summer of 2025, despite being ridiculed by the internet. When she did reply, she made sure it would be more impactful than the rumor. When Vanessa eventually spoke up, it was in late August. However, she did not issue a well-crafted statement or host a press conference. Rather, she used humor as a weapon. On Instagram, she posted a meme of Rihanna swimming underwater, goggles on, flipping the middle finger. The caption read, "Me protecting my peace, not pregnant, and having fun all summer." The meme spread instantly, shared across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. By using Rihanna, an icon of unapologetic independence, Vanessa sent a clear message. She was unbothered, and the gossip was laughable. One commentator broke it down in a viral reaction clip.
In case anybody was wondering, Vanessa Bryant is not pregnant. So, Vanessa Bryant had to go to her Insta story and post to clear up rumors. There have been things, I guess, spreading online. I didn't even see the rumors. I just saw her post about it.
I didn't see the rumors either.
Yeah, and I was actually confused because I saw the Insta story in real time when she posted it on her Insta story. And I'm like, why is she posting that? She doesn't, like, it threw me off. But, yeah, so she posted the meme of Rihanna where Rihanna's like swimming and she has the goggles on and she has the middle finger up. And the caption of the meme said, "Me protecting my peace, not pregnant and having fun all last summer.
But Vanessa didn't stop there. She followed it with another Rihanna meme. I'm not mean, I'm just not the one. The subtext was obvious. She had no intention of playing games. Furthermore, she was not here to give in to rumors. Vanessa transformed the rumor into a joke in a single move. What had appeared shocking suddenly appeared ridiculous. Vanessa stepped up her efforts in September, as if the memes were not obvious enough. She appeared courtside at the US Open, cocktail in hand, posting the photo with a cheeky caption that directly dismissed the imaginary pregnancy rumors. It was the final nail in the coffin. After months of speculation, AI photos, and media hysteria, Vanessa had the last word. She wasn't pregnant, she wasn't flustered, and she wasn't letting trolls dictate her life. The symbolism of that courtside appearance couldn't be ignored. For years, Kobe Bryant had been the face of the NBA, and here was Vanessa, sipping a cocktail at one of the most prestigious sporting events in the world, asserting control over her image once again. She was not being humiliated into silence as Kobe's widow. She dictated the parameters of her own story because she was Vanessa Bryant. But the rumors were not a sudden occurrence. Vanessa Bryant's reputation was formed by the Karl Malone controversy. There was more to the 2025 pregnancy rumors than meets the eye. Yes, Jaylen Brown's conjecture, the Disneyland pictures, and AI changes were all involved. However, there was a deeper explanation for why the story made sense to so many followers and even some commentators. It was more than what was going on just now. It had to do with history. We need to travel back more than 20 years to 2003 in order to comprehend how quickly rumors about Vanessa can spread. In that year, Vanessa Bryant defied Karl Malone, one of the most infamous people in the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers had a difficult season. Alongside Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant was leading the squad in his heyday. A league veteran known for his domination and controversy, Karl Malone had recently joined the Lakers for what many considered to be his final NBA championship attempt. The Bryant family, however, was about to become embroiled in a whole other kind of drama behind the scenes. Karl Malone reportedly made offensive remarks about Vanessa Bryant during a game in November 2003, according to several reports, including ESPN's coverage at the time. Malone, who was 40 at the time, allegedly made a comment about Vanessa's appearance while they were seated courtside and asked if she wanted him to go looking for her. The context made the remark even more unsettling than it would have been otherwise. At the time, Vanessa was 21 years old, married to Kobe, and seated with friends and family. Malone's remark was not only inappropriate, it was open to the public. In order to prevent drama, or because they did not think anyone would believe them over a player, the majority of NBA spouses would have ignored such an incident. Vanessa didn't. She faced the matter directly. Vanessa reportedly addressed Malone directly. "Hey, what are you hunting for, Karl?" According to the Los Angeles Times. According to subsequent reports, he said, "I am seeking for tiny Mexican females." It was an explosive exchange. It exposed Malone's racial dimension in addition to confirming the predatory undertone of his initial statement. One of the biggest names in the NBA had just made Vanessa, who is of Mexican descent, into an awful joke. Kobe was incensed when he learned. He confronted Malone in public and advised him to avoid his relatives. Kobe accused Malone of stepping beyond a threshold that could never be unstepped, according to ESPN reports. During a sit-down with ESPN, Kobe himself verified it in his own words.
Talking about Karl Malone and explaining why he accused his former teammate of making a pass at his wife Vanessa. Kobe sharing his thoughts with John Saunders and the rest of the NBA shoot-around gang.
What prompted you to come out publicly and say what you said, first of all? And more importantly, do you believe you were the first to touch on the issue publicly?
No, I didn't touch on it at all, to begin with. When everything broke out surrounding the radio interview, I had several reporters come up to me and ask me on camera and off camera, what was the personal feud that took place between myself and Karl, because they hadn't known about it, whether it's from him or from his agent, I don't know. And my response to them was, look, it's a personal matter. It was resolved in a personal way, and that's that. And then all of a sudden, I read articles in the paper when people talking about the story and telling half-truths about what took place. I wasn't fine with that. That didn't sit well with me at all.
But Kobe, in your mind, as you see things, did Karl Malone make a pass at your wife?
You know what? I know what took place surrounding the situation knows, we all know what happened.
Kobe was not merely defending his wife at that time. Her account was being verified by him in front of the whole basketball community. However, the criticism was aimed at Vanessa rather than at her. This is where things get complicated. Many fans and critics viewed Vanessa as the issue rather than Malone's inappropriate actions. She was portrayed as dramatic, domineering, and even cunning, the young wife who had overreacted and caused mayhem. Talk shows and radio programs made fun of the incident, implying that Kobe was coerced into exaggerating the exchange or that Vanessa had fabricated it. She was accused by some critics of controlling Kobe's friendships and causing a rift between him and Malone. For some supporters, this was the point at which Vanessa solidified her image as a despot, someone who manipulated Kobe's movements, pulled strings behind the scenes, and created needless drama. Malone's career was unaffected by the Karl Malone affair. He continued to play. For Vanessa, however, the consequences persisted. Years later, the same undertone reappeared anytime her name was mentioned in rumors. She was presented as domineering and as someone who used her position of authority in ways that unnerved others. The true cause of the 2025 pregnancy rumors was this: fans have already internalized an old narrative that they fit within. The dictator Vanessa was involved in NBA controversy once more. She was apparently involved with Jaylen Brown, just as she had allegedly meddled with Malone. And after the internet realized the parallels, the story spread even quicker. This explains why so many people found the Jaylen Brown rumor to be credible. It was more than just Vanessa showing up in Disneyland wearing a dress. It had to do with history. 2003 was recalled. They recalled Kobe's tumultuous year, the Malone affair, and how Vanessa was portrayed in the media as someone who thrived on drama. That collective memory was evoked by the 2025 rumors. Whether or not the rumor was supported by proof was irrelevant to the casual fans who were scrolling through TikTok. That it sounded like something Vanessa would do was what counted. The Malone scandal explains why the pregnancy rumors circulated so swiftly. However, it did not clarify why they were so painful. We need to look beyond NBA superstars or Vanessa's bond with Kobe to comprehend that. The betrayals that followed must be examined. The reported jewelry theft, the nasty divorce allegations, and the family feuds all contributed to the gossip's explosive growth. Family disputes, betrayals, and splits. The latest controversy surrounding Vanessa Bryant may have been brought on by pregnancy rumors, but the betrayals that followed her around were what sustained the dictator label. From failed love affairs to thefts and even family conflicts that became public. These were not isolated incidents. Collectively, they depicted Vanessa engaged in a never-ending conflict on several fronts. The idea that she was engaged in a power struggle with everyone around her was strengthened by each one. During the months before the pregnancy rumor, Vanessa's private life was troubled, according to gossip sites. Following years of being connected to well-known people, part of it is just conjecture, while other more specific rumors of a messy split emerge. The purported aftermath was what set this apart. There were reports that pricey jewelry was lost. Police were called after Vanessa accused a former partner of taking jewelry valued at tens of thousands of dollars, according to a report that was put together. This was more than just robbery to Vanessa, who is fiercely devoted to her family's heritage. It was betrayal. These were not merely accessories. They were emotional items connected to Kobe's and the family's past. The incident was covered with a strong emphasis on sensationalism. Stories about Vanessa's betrayed trust and her failed luxury romance filled the headlines. Commentators pondered how someone who was so watchful of her social surroundings could have fallen for deception. Because it attacked Vanessa's sense of control, this story was terrible. Fairly or wrongly, she had been represented for years as the one controlling the situation and making decisions. Now, the tale of the lost jewelry indicated, but it was not an ex-partner who betrayed you the most. It was said to have originated in her own family. There were rumors that Vanessa's relationship with her oldest daughter, Natalia Bryant, had become tense between 2024 and 2025. According to reports, Natalia, an adult now establishing her own identity, argued with her mother about independence, professional decisions, and the ongoing burden of the Bryant family name. Online videos of Natalia seeming aloof at public gatherings fueled rumors of a rift. According to gossip reports, the plot was framed as Vanessa versus Natalia, with a daughter desperate to break free from her mother's hold and the mother refusing to relent. Neither party ever formally acknowledged the supposed conflict, but it was not necessary. It was the ideal plot for the gossip mill. The despot is at odds with her own blood in addition to NBA players and detractors. Although rumors circulated that Vanessa and her oldest daughter were at odds, the truth is that Vanessa has consistently highlighted her relationship with Natalia and her kids during her most sensitive and public time. times. She made sure to emphasize the value of her daughter, particularly Natalia, whom Kobe had hoped would one day assist in running his business during the celebration of life for Kobe and Gianna.
And when Kobe retired from the NBA, he took over dropping off and picking up our girls from school since I was at home pregnant with Bianca and just recently home nursing Capri. When Kobe was still playing, I used to show up an hour early to be the first in line to pick up Natalia and Gianna from school, and I told him he couldn't drop the ball once he took over. He was late one time, and we most definitely let him know that I was never late. So he showed up 1 hour and 20 minutes early after that. He always knew there was room for improvement and wanted to do better. He happily did carpool and enjoyed spending time in the car with our girls.
Later on in her speech, Vanessa emphasized the need to strike a balance between responsibility and pain, specifically mentioning Natalia as a part of the future she was now pursuing.
You take care of our Gigi, and I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco. We're still the best team.
Older family tensions were repeated by the Natalia rumors, which made them more painful. Vanessa and Kobe's parents, especially his mother Pam Bryant, had a very tense relationship. According to reports over the years, Kobe's parents did not even attend his wedding in 2001 because Pam saw Vanessa as opportunistic and their relationship worsened. In 2013, Vanessa fiercely opposed Pam's plan to sell Kobe's memorabilia at auction and backed Kobe in the court fight to prevent it. Critics saw this as more evidence of Vanessa's autocratic tendencies. She was always at battle not only with the outside world but also with her own family. Therefore, many onlookers viewed the resurgence of tales about Natalia's rebellion years later as a recurrence of the past. If Kobe's mother and Vanessa had a falling out and now her daughter is said to have done the same, then maybe it was not everyone else that was the issue. The rumors nearly wrote themselves. Maybe Vanessa was the common denominator, as the tabloids implied. Every betrayal, the split, the jewelry heist, the Natalia rumors, and the long-running struggle with Kobe's parents contributed to the idea that Vanessa was always at odds. Additionally, since conflict characterized her public persona, it was simple for both detractors and admirers to fit fresh tales into the same mold. A vicious loop was the outcome. Vanessa was depicted as more domineering the more she resisted betrayal. She was portrayed as controlling the more she defended herself. She was portrayed as the aggressor even while she was the target of theft, rumors, and rudeness. This explains the dictator label's enduring appeal. It was not dependent on a single incident. Every time Vanessa's life encountered turmoil, whether from her own family, partners, or NBA luminaries, it was reaffirmed. The protracted argument with Kobe's parents demonstrated that Vanessa's disputes went back decades, even if the purported rivalry with Natalia was painful since it suggested generational tension. Vanessa was never really embraced by Pam and Joe Bryant. Rumors circulated right away that Pam did not approve of her son's 2001 marriage to Vanessa, who was still a teenager. When Pam tried to sell Kobe's jersey, ring, trophy, and memorabilia at auction in 2013, she made those rumors public. In retaliation, Kobe and Vanessa sued, which ultimately compelled Pam to remove the items from the auction. This was deja vu for supporters who were still haunted by the Malone incident. Once more, despite the fact that Vanessa was only defending her family's property, she was shown as aggressive. The family rifts were exacerbated years after Kobe's untimely death. Tabloids took advantage of the rumor that Vanessa had cut Pam off and that she had not been included in Kobe's estate preparations. The story was compelling whether it was true or not. With her hold growing, the dictator widow left no space for Kobe's own family. The intricacy of Kobe's ongoing conflict with his parents was overlooked in this frame. However, confrontation is more appealing in gossip culture than subtlety. When Vanessa's name was brought up in relation to Michael Jordan, another NBA legend, the gossip cycle intensified once again. Online reports surfaced in the middle of 2025 that Vanessa was mentioned in passing in a documentary exposed on Jordan's personal life. The purported assertion, because in their early connection, she had criticized Jordan's way of life and impact on Kobe. Despite being thin, the rumor gained traction since it was consistent with the status quo. Her altercation with Malone was recalled by fans. They recalled how she and Kobe's parents had a tense relationship. They recalled the rumors about Natalia. As a result, the public did not doubt the authenticity of the expose when Jordan's name was included. All they did was put Vanessa back in her old role, the lady with the constant adversary, the constant dictatorship, and the constant conflict. These betrayals and feuds could be explained if considered separately. Theft of jewelry constituted a personal connection betrayal of trust. A normal push-pull between between a parent and an adult kid was represented in the Natalia rumors. Grief and money rekindled long-standing tensions that led to the Kobe family warfare. The rumor about the Jordan exposure was merely a rumor. However, when combined over a 20-year period, they produced a pattern, or the appearance of one. Not only was Vanessa Bryant unlucky in her struggles, according to the gossip-hungry public, in all of them she served as the unifying factor. That impression became ingrained in one's reputation. Furthermore, it is very difficult to remove a reputation after it has been established. Vanessa was in this capacity for years before the 2025 pregnancy rumors surfaced. The dictator's perspective was applied to every new account of her life, regardless of whether it was accurate, wildly inflated, or wholly made up. She was domineering if she defended herself. She was manipulative if she remained silent. She was brutal if she responded with humor. Only the specifics altered. The frame remained constant. This explains how the pregnancy rumor spread so fast. It was more than just a body rumor. Fans already had a screenplay for her, and this rumor fit right into it. The widow supposedly had a feud with her daughter, and once reprimanded Karl Malone for his conflicts with Kobe's parents. She would undoubtedly become embroiled in another NBA scandal. People believe they knew Vanessa Bryant like that. I appreciate you watching. To view more videos like this one, click on one of the boxes